Welcome to my channel. This is JC Rock and Metal Reviews. My name is John and I have a new ranking video for you. It is by the band The Offspring. So before I start, if you're new to this channel, please hit that subscribe button so you can get updated every time I upload a video. So that's it. I just want to jump right into it. I'm going to be ranking 10 studio albums that span their 32-year career, and the ranking will be from worst to best. So coming in at number 10 is Days Gone By. This was released in 2012, and I feel that this album went more into a commercial direction and is not very representative of the band's sound. The most popular song on the album is called Cruising California, Bumpin' in My Trunk, and this is basically the Offspring doing modern pop or hip hop, and I will admit it is kind of a guilty pleasure for me. But it doesn't really sound like anything the band has ever released. They did release another single called Turning Into You. Not that bad of a song. It reminded me of their classic sound. The title track, it's an okay song. Has some elements of classic rock mixed in. That particular song kind of reminded me of Firewoman by The Cult. But in conclusion, this one comes at the end because it's just it's an okay album. Coming in at number 9 is their debut album called The Offspring. This was released in 1989. This is more of a straightforward punk rock record. It's good. I think the band is just still looking for their sound. The production is very raw. It has a few good songs. The song Jennifer Lost the War, it's a straightforward punk rock song. The song Demons, a Mexican Fiesta, is a pretty cool song. It's very raw and does remind me of some of those classic punk rock bands, like from the late 70s. The song Beheaded, that one has a pretty cool riff, and it is overall a decent song. Coming in at number 8 is the new one, Let the Bad Times Roll. And you're probably wondering why it's so low. Because I like the album, but I feel it's not really a complete album. When I did my first review, I failed to mention that the song Coming For You was released as a single about 6 years ago, so that song has been out for a while. Then they did a cover of Gone Away. They did Haul the Mountain King. That's many other bands have done that before. And the last track is just basically a reprise. So it pretty much leaves a 30-minute album with only 8 of the 12 songs being new. And for that reason, I have it at number 8. And by the way, you can watch my full review. I will link it at the end of this video. Coming in at number 7 is Splinter from 2003. This is a good album. It just lacks the same quality as the ones that I will be ranking above it. So this is the album that was almost named Chinese Democracy, You Lose. And it was just an April Fool's joke. But the most popular song from this album is called Hit That. Has some pretty cool keyboard sounds. It's catchy. And that's probably another song that I like. It's kind of a guilty pleasure for me. Another single is called Spare Me the Details, and that's a catchy acoustic pop punk song. That one reminded me a lot of the band Sugar Ray. That one, it was a fun song. And another single called Can't Get My Head Around You. That's a good song. That has more of a classic Offspring sound. And another song called The Worst Hangover Ever. That has this reggae or a ska feel. That was pretty cool. This album is decent, but the other ones are just a lot better. Coming in at number 6 is Ignition. This was released in 1992, and this is the album where they start to define their sound. This is their second album. I really like the song Dirty Magic. It has this 80s modern rock song vibe. Very reminiscent of The Cure. I really like that one a lot. The opening track Session, that kind of shows off their classic punk rock sound. Kick Him When He's Down, that's another good one. Has this classic punk rock feel, and you could tell in this album they are kind of finding their sound. Now the next album is Smash. I will be talking about that a little later in the video, but this is a decent album again. Coming in number 5 is Rise and Fall, Rage and Grace. So this was released in 2008, and this is probably the best of their newer albums and more representative of their classic late 90s sound. This album was produced by Bob Rock, and we know Bob Rock from many album greats like Metallica's Black Album and a few others from Bon Jovi and Aerosmith. The most popular song is called You're Gonna Go Far, Kid. That has that classic Offspring sound. It's very catchy, very melodic, has a very modern pop feel. And another single is called Hammerhead, and that one had like a clean guitar intro, but developed straight into like the straightforward punk rock song. And the song Christy, Are You Doing Okay? That's an acoustic ballad, something the band doesn't do too often, so that's a pretty cool song. Coming in at number 4 is Conspiracy of One, and that came out in the year 2000, and this is the last album from their classic period from like 1994 to 2000, which at this point you know will be the top 4 albums, but this is a solid album, has many memorable songs. The most popular song from this is called Original Prankster, and I really like this one a lot. It's very fun. You hear that line, you often hear it in the Adam Sandler movies, when it's like, you can do it, like that. You hear that in that song, and this one has Redman providing vocals in the chorus section. Another good song is Want You Bad. That's just classic Offspring punk rock. Another good song, A Million Miles Away. This one has a really great opening riff. Even has a little bit of like a heavy metal influence, I really like that. But it is, to the heart of it, it's just a classic punk rock song. Coming in at number 3 is Ixnay on the Hombre. And this one was released like right between the 2 big albums, which I will be talking about in a minute. A little darker than the other ones, and the song Meaning of Life, just classic punk rock. Really good song, it's fast paced, I really like that one. The original version of Gone Away, which is a very emotional song when you listen to the lyrics. But I probably like the remakes better because that song works better as a ballad, but the original is still very good. The song I Choose, I like that one. The intro kind of reminds me of like Van Halen for some reason, but I like that one a lot. That's a very well written like pop punk song. The song All I Want, it's more of a hardcore punk song. It's only 2 minutes long, but it's very fast paced and just reminiscent of that like classic punk rock. And this one might surprise you, but at number 2 I have Smash, and most people would have thought I would have put it at number 1, but I'll explain why in a few minutes. But this is their big album, their breakout. It came out when punk rock was experiencing a resurgence, along with like Green Day and Bad Religion. Now the most popular song is Come Out and Play. This one's really great, it has a Middle Eastern riff, and that song was all over the radio back in 1994. Another song, and probably my favorite, is Self-Esteem. One of those classic Offspring songs about like the toxic relationships. And I've listened to that so many times, I pretty much have those lyrics memorized. Another great song is Gotta Get Away. It has a signature bass line in the intro, it's a great song. And basically the entire album is solid and just the type of album that you can listen to all the way through. But at number 1, this is my personal preference, it's Americana. And I really like it because when this came out, I was working in a circuit board factory. I had this like night job, and it was the first job I ever had where they let you like listen to music while you worked. I had this album on cassette, and I had one of those like yellow sports Walkmans, and I just basically like played this over and over while I worked a night shift. And I think that's why I like it so much. And also, back then I was 27 years old, I was single, and I was living in Corona, Queens, and that's like a very like Latin American neighborhood in New York City. So when I heard the song Pretty Fly for a White Guy, it just kind of like described my life at that time, I guess you can say it. So if you're wondering like why someone from Long Island is now living in Mexico City like 20 years later, you know, it all started with a song from the Offspring, Pretty Fly for a White Guy. And the rest of the album is awesome. I really like the song She's Got Issues. That's another one of those like great toxic relationship songs. Why Don't You Get a Job? That was inspired by the Beatles, Obla Di, Obla Da. And every other song, it's just a solid album, and it's just very representative of their like classic sound. And that's why I have it at number 1. And that is it. Let me know your ranking or give me your top 5 in the comments section. And that is it. I will be working on a few more videos, so I'll be back tomorrow night with something new. You can check out my in-video links if you want to see my full review of Let the Bad Times Roll. I'll link it right over there. And one of my other new releases, I'll link right there. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.